Hello everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to set up a new company in Sage 50. First I'll show you a sample company that I'm going to be using. It's called Sage Gardens Greenhouse. So first a little background on my company. Sage Gardens Greenhouse is my sample company that I will be setting up from scratch in Sage 50. Sage Gardens is owned and operated by Manuel and Hilary Movie. Like most greenhouses, most of the revenue comes from the cash sales and from annual and perennial bedding plants. This company also has revenue from landscaping supplies as well as sales from ceramic planters and outdoor art. I will discuss the vendors, suppliers, and employees in a later screen recording. So let's get started in Sage 50. As you can see, I have a shortcut icon on my monitor, and I will double click on it now. So here's the splash screen, and Sage takes a little while to start up. Just wait for it. Okay, so here we have a few choices. We could open a sample company, create a new company, restore from backup, or select an existing company. I want to select the create a new company right here. And I will click OK. So the new company setup. First of all, I'm going to do with the introduction. Click Next. And here's where you want to enter your name, street, city, province, etc. So I'm going to do that now. And you can tab between the fields to move to the next one. My company's in the province of Manitoba, so I'll select Manitoba. Postal code is R3T2G5. 204 555 2222. And yeah, that should be good. So I'll go to next. So because I have a greenhouse that has a limited number of months where it's in service, I'm going to make my fiscal year start date to be May 1st, 2017. And as you can see, it even though I didn't format it a particular way, it does it for me. So the earliest transaction date is also going to be the same as my fiscal year start date. And because it's a greenhouse and it's not in operation the full year, I'm going to make the fiscal year end to be October. So the 10th month, 31st day, 2017. And I'll go next. So here, have Sage 50 create a list of accounts based on your business type. This is recommended. Or I can choose create a list of accounts from an export file, or let me build a list of accounts myself after the company is created. I am going to choose the latter because I want to show how to build everything from scratch. So I will press next now. And it gives me a message that says creating your own list of accounts requires you to create all of the accounts your company needs manually before you begin entering transactions. If you'd rather have a list of accounts created for you, select Have Sage 50 create a list of accounts based on your business. Well, I don't have a very large business, so I'm going to continue on with creating it from scratch myself. Do you want to continue creating your list of accounts after creating your company? Yes, I do. And now for the new company setup, it gives me a choice of businesses that I can choose from. So even though it's not going to be providing me with chart of accounts, it still can give me a setup or names that is appropriate for my type of business. So let's see. We have a few to choose from. Agriculture is not quite what my company does. More retail, but then also my company provides some services. So I'm going to go with other. I will go next. And it says enter the name of the company file, Sage Gardens Greenhouse. Enter the location where you would like to store the company file. Okay, so I'm going to do browse, and I will be saving it to my flash drive. So when you're setting up your company, you should set up a folder right away where everything gets saved to, so nothing gets lost. Make new folder, Sage Greenhouse files. Okay, and not sure if it went there. Let's see. Okay, now it's changed it so that it will save there. And now we'll go next. If you want to view or modify your company settings later, open the Setup menu and choose Settings. Well, I'm pretty happy with what I have so far, so I'm going to press Finish. Now it's creating a new database. This usually takes a little while. My files are on a flash drive, so everything takes a little bit slower than if it was on my desktop. So here we are, and our company is set up after a long wait, and it says, congratulations, you have successfully created your company. So now we are going to continue preparing the system. So let's go close, and we'll wait for it to open its database. Opening Sage 50, please wait, it says. And here we go, getting started. So for now, we'll just close this first part. And new releases, product updates, delete, or rather close. Now that our company has been set up, we're going to change some user preferences and default settings. So we're going to begin with our setup menu at the top and click user preferences. So for terminology, we want to click on use accounting terms. Our language will be English. We automatically want to save changes to vendor, customer, and other records. Show list buttons and Sage suggest items. I don't think, yes, we're going to keep that checked. We can automatically refresh lists. We're going to also click on calculate record balances in home Windows lists by session date. We're also going to uncheck this one, automatically download product updates. Because this is an older version of Sage, we don't need to know about new products. Show a list of inventory items when unknown inventory item number is entered. Yes, we want that. Always apply allocation to tire transaction. I think that we can probably leave as is. So we're going to click on the View button now. And now we're in the View section of our preferences, and we want to uncheck a few things. We are going to check off after changing a daily business manager after changing session date, and we're going to unclick after changing checklist, this one as well. And we're going to click this at startup. And for the color scheme, we can change our color scheme as well. Sure, green's good. Purchase quotes, these all seem fine. The colors, I guess we could change some colors. Since we're a gardening store, we can make a few things green. There we go. Window default color, that should be fine. And now we're going to move on to transaction confirmation. And tell me when a transaction is posted and recorded successfully. Yes, we want to keep that. And for pop-ups, if you do not want to see Message Center pop-ups for a message type in the lower portion of the screen, you can turn off pop-ups below by clearing the checkbox. Note that although pop-ups are turned off, you can still view the related messages in the Message Center. We want to click off of, we don't want promotions, we don't want new sales releases. We can keep that. Newsletters and Sage Communications, don't need that. That should all be fine. And we're going to click OK. So now we're going to change a few other company default settings. We're going to click Company to change some things on the home window. So now we're going to change some of my company default settings. I'm going to start off by double-clicking the icon in the bottom left corner called Settings. And we are going to click Information first. So here we have some of the information we entered previously, the name of our business, street, phone number, etc. What we don't have yet, I believe, is the business number. So we're just going to come up with our own number. So I'll do 500-766-455. Industry type we'll keep to other. This is our fiscal start and end. And everything seems to be fine there. Now we're going to click System and use check number as source code for cash purchase and sales. Do not allow transactions dated before May 1st. Correct. Warn if transactions are 1 day in the future. I think I would change that to 7 days in the future. Allow general, journal, and payroll transactions for the next fiscal year or calendar year. I don't think I'm going to allow that, actually. Warn if accounts are not balanced when entered in a new month. Yes, sure, we will allow that. Cash accounting date. Use cash basis accounting. Yes. Maybe I'll leave it to the default. So now we're going to look at our backup options. So display a backup reminder when session date changes. I'm going to change that from daily to weekly. Display a backup reminder when closing this company. Yes. Compact data before backing up to file disk. No, I don't think we don't need to do that. And verify backup file after backup completion. Sure, we can leave that. We can leave that to be fine. Okay, so then we're going to click Features and click the list on the left. My company uses orders for vendors, quotes for vendors, orders for customers, quotes for customers, packing slips for customers. My company does business in English and French. No, we're going to stick with English. So I think we're going to leave our credit card savings or credit card features the same. We move on to forms. And I'm going to leave these. These should be fine to keep as they are. Then we're going to move on to email. And we could change our message. It says, if you're unable to view the attached invoice, please contact us immediately. And they all have the similar message for each just indicating if you're unable to see it, to contact the company. I think that's fine. We can leave that. And dates. So we want to change our short date to long. So we're going to, let's see, we're going to do MMTDYYY. There we go. And that should be fine. That's how it's going to select. So there's less confusion for the customer. I'm going to change the short dates to long dates. And my company's week begins on Mondays. And we're going to now add a logo. So we're going to browse. I happen to have a logo that's saved for my company. And it's called Sage Gardens logo. And there you go. It seems to fit fairly all right in that little box. I'm going to click OK. And that seems to be fine. I haven't changed my printer defaults yet, but I may do so later. So that concludes that part of setting up the company. Next, in the next recording, I will show you how to enter information in your chart of accounts. So now I'm going to show you how to set up a few shortcuts in Sage 50. So you'll see along your left side of the screen, you've got this word called Shortcuts and Customize. I'm going to click on this, and depending on what you're doing that day, you can set up a few shortcuts that will appear along this side. So for example, say I'm going to add a bunch of suppliers today. I could add it right there. Maybe I'm going to create some purchase orders today. And then I can collapse this and move on to my next tab, which is receivables. Perhaps I'm going to add a bunch of customers today. I could add this. I could also add a separator, and if it changes the way my things appear, maybe I need to find a bunch of sales orders today, so I add that, and as you can see, it shows up after my separators. And basically that is about all there is to it. It's not too complicated. Click any of these that you might feel are necessary. You can move things up or down, or remove them altogether. And then once you're happy with it, you just click OK, and your shortcuts appear along the left. So now that I've got my shortcuts set up on the left, I can click on any of these, and it will take me to the window that I require. It'll save me time from having to go into this side menu and then click on an icon here. So there you go. That's one time-saving tip in Sage 50.
Good afternoon. Today we're going to be teaching you about how to add a new account to your chart of accounts through Sage 50. In today's lesson, we have to make sure that we have the model company selected here on the tabs so that you can see in your front window these options here: chart of account, journal, and accountant's copy. So in order to add a new account, you can go about it in two options. Number one, you can click on the icon here, and it will present you this window, and then you just click on create, and it will give you the chart of accounts addition here, general ledger. Okay, or you can disregard this. You still want to create this record? No. Or you can click on the drop down arrow here and add account. So now that we're here in this window, we have to select the account. We're gonna add the account. You have to input the number for the account. It will be 1003, and we're gonna name this account Advanced Receivables. This is for the case that we have any employee who would like to advance from their paychecks before they get paid. It's basically kind of like borrowing money from their own money that they will get deposited in their payday. Okay, so then you move on to the type over here, and you're gonna select the option that it is, either whether it's a group heading, a subgroup account, subgroup total, group account, or group total. This one we'll leave it as it is because it's a group account. Everything else stays the same here. We're going to keep active, so we don't have to check mark the inactive account. Current balance is 0. And then we're going to move on to class option. In the class option, we're going to leave it as an account class asset because this is an asset, it's a company account asset, and everything else will stay the same here. We don't have to add anything else. So after that, everything's done. All you have to do is just save and close, and you have added one new account to your chart of accounts for your company.
And if you double click here, then here you could has a list of all my assets, liabilities, equity, revenue, expenses. So right now I'm going to show you how to enter vendor information. So on my Sage screen, I'm going to click on payables, and up here we have vendors. I'm going to add a vendor. Type in my name, Scott Canada, which supplies grass seed to my company. I'm going to choose from my list of expense accounts, and I'm going to scroll down till I see AP Scott's Canada. Early payment terms, I'm going to type in 1% discount for 10 days, due in 30 days. And I'll have them email confirmation to me. Next, I will select taxes, and because this is a supplier that is giving me goods that I'm going to resale, they are going to charge me only GST, and I will be exempt from paying PST. The rest of the fields can remain as they are. I don't need to allow direct deposits for this vendor. I can keep those the same. And it's good as it is. So I'm going to save, but I'm not going to close it. I'm going to create another one. So here we go. So my next vendor is a little different than the previous one. Good old Domino's Pizza. So I can treat my employees to the occasional pizza dinner. So contact name is type in all my contact information, address, etc. All right, so they've been a vendor since, I'll say they've been a vendor for 1 month. And now we're going to select options. And in this case, AP Domino's Pizza, we're paying in cash only. So we'll leave that. There's no early payment terms. Taxes, I am not exempt in this case. I'm going to be paying PST and GST because of the item that they supply to me is not for resale. And basically that is pretty much it for that. That one's good. So I'm going to save and close. And then I've just realized that I'm going to have to modify one of my vendors. So I'm going to modify Scott's Canada. And I've realized that I need to add my contact information. So I can do that now and then save and close. So I will enter those things right here. All right, and they've been a vendor for me since way back when. So I'm going to say March 2016. And it still remembers all the information I put in previously. So it still remembers my early payment terms. So now I'm going to go save and close. So now I want to enter some of my customer information. So I'm going to click on receivables. And here are my customer icon right up here. And first of all, I'm going to click on View Customers. So as you can see, I've already entered some information, and I want to include one more. So I'm going to add customer. So here we type the customer name and all their contact information. I'll do that now. And as all other fields like before, you tab to get through to move from one field to another. And click on the calendar to change from when the customer started doing business with you. Now I'm going to click my ship to address, and I can have it default ship to address, or I can add a new address here. I'm going to keep it as default ship to address. For options, you want to select your revenue account. So in this case, it's Red River College AR. So find it in my list and select it. So there it is. Price list. There's such a thing as a preferred customer or a web price. We're going to just charge them the regular price. And it usually ships to the primary location. We're going to give a 1% discount to this company, and if they pay within 10 days, net due 30 days. That's good. So now taxes. They are not exempt, so we're going to charge them the 5% GST and 8% PST. I could set up so that the customer could pay me pre-authorized debit agreement, but however, I'm going to leave that blank. And the Red River College here is going to have a $10,000 credit limit with my company. And that's about it. The rest of these, the memo, import, we don't need to change these for our purposes. So I'm going to go save and close. I'm going to show how to add inventory to our company. So on the Inventory and Services tab, you're going to want to go to the top and click on the icon that says Inventory and Services. So right now I'm going to click on View Inventory Services. And as you can see, I've already entered quite a few items, but I'm going to show you how to enter a new one. Click Add Inventory and Service. Now we're going to type the item code for my geranium. F20 violet. And this is inventory, not a service. So I'll leave that checked. Minimum quantities level should be set to 1. This can stay the same on this screen. Pricing is $4.95. And when I tab that to the next preferred, it automatically enters the same price, but I don't actually have a preferred price or a web price for this item. I want to click on my linked accounts. So I have an account called Bedding Plants, and I have a revenue account also set up that's called Bedding Plants Revenue, and my cost of goods is $5,065 cost of goods account. Next, I could select build if I was building a package perhaps of several items, but I don't need to do that for this particular item. Statistics, this would track, the sales that I've had for this item over the past few months, but I'm not entering anything in here today. Then we move on to taxes tab, and I could toggle off and on, yes or no. My items are not tax exempt, so I'm going to leave them both checked to no. Additional information, I'm going to leave this blank, but if I wanted to add a little bit more information about the transaction, I could place that here. History, I'm going to have to enter how much quantity I have of the item, as well as the opening value for all of the items. So the total value for this item is $247.50 for all 50 items. Then I'm going to move on to the detailed description. So geranium, violet, 4.5-inch pot, sun-loving plant. And if I wanted to, I could input a picture here, but I'm not going to for this one. And that should be it for that. I'm going to save and close now. Now that my inventory item has been recorded, I'm going to click on View Inventory and Services, and we'll see that my thing, F20 Geranium Violet, is now there in the list. Now I'm going to show you how to build an item from assembly. And on my Inventory and Services tab, I'm going to click Build from Item Assembly. And I'm going to name my inventory, so it's MDP01. Date is fine. Mother's Day promotion. And here's where I select which items are going to be inside my promotion. So select Lobelia Blue, make sure you input the quantity, and right away Sage calculates my unit cost and also the total amount for depending on the quantity that I have entered. Now I'm going to select red geranium, quantity 1, tab across. Now I'll select white geranium, quantities 1, tab across again. And now I need a container to put them all in, so I have something called ceramic blue flower pot, and that is $20. Make sure you input the quantity. And as you can see right here, the Sage has already calculated the cost of my goods so far. It's $37.39. Now here I have to name my assembled item, and it is called Mother's Day Promotion. And enter 1. And as you can see, it's calculated here, and I have to figure out the difference between this and what I'm going to be charging. So I'm going to be charging $12.60 for labor and soil. So that is about it, and now I will post it. Now I'm going to show you my Mother's Day promotion inventory item. So as you see, I have a list of items here. I'm going to double click here, and this is one I've begun to set up already. So MDP Mother's Day promotion, MDP, and minimum level will be 1 again. Units, I'll keep the same. Pricing needs to be $49.99. Preferred and web prices are blank. My linked accounts will be 1017 promotional offers. Revenue is 4,003 bedding plants revenue, and there's my cost of goods sold. Build is fine for now because I've built it already in the other window. And my item is not tax exempt. I could toggle this on and off, but I'm going to leave it to no. Additional information, history, I'm going to leave my units on hand to be 50. And 50 times $49.99 is $2,499.50. Here is my detailed description. Mother's Day promo item containing 2 labelli, 2 geraniums, and 1 blue ceramic pot. And then after I've done all that, I click Save and Close.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to another tutorial of Sage Accounting. I am your host for the day, Manuel Camejo, and I'm going to be teaching you how to add a new employee to a payroll for a company. The first thing that you have to do is step number 1 is move your mouse to the top of the screen as I'm showing you here and click on the drop button arrow for employees. You're going to click on add employee, and here you're going to be starting inputting the information for your new employee. Since this is an employee that I had already drafted on a Microsoft Word document, I can just start copy pasting the information needed. In this case, the name, Christopher Wallace, for employee. Moving now to add the information for the street, which it will be 40 Brooklyn Street. This company resides in Winnipeg, Manitoba, so we're going to leave it at that. Now, I'm going to add the phone number, Manitoba-based phone number. And from there, we're moving on to whatever other information we have and is needed. It is required at least a birthday. As you see it, every field with a red asterisk, that means that it's required, as you can see in the top of on the screen on your right side. So the birthday will be this one. Out here, you can identify the gender if you want to. We're going to do for this case, for these purposes. And this person was hired on that specific date. After you input the personal information, you move to the next tab, which is the taxes, and start inputting the necessary required fields. In the tax table here, you click on the drop down and you select the Manitoba taxes. And for your federal basic personal amount information, you're going to be putting the amount of taxes that it is required to be paid at the end of the year to the federal taxes, to the federal government, which it will be $11,327. For the provincial will be $9,938. Then you hit tab and it will move next to other index amounts, which then here it will be 13,420. Hit tab for the provincial 850. Now these are amounts that you can find in the web page for provincial and federal taxes of how much you will be paying at the end of the year. For the non-index amounts, these are more subjected to the province the company is located, in this case Manitoba, so we're gonna be putting 38.30 here and 31.90 here, and we're gonna be adding the amount. So for the tax deduction, as after you click tab, you're gonna let this one check mark, so calculate tax, because it will calculate automatically. And this is additional federal tax. This is in case that you wanna pay extra, just to make sure that you don't have to pay tax back to the government when you are paying your taxes. So typically here, some people add an extra payment of $100. You click tab, move to the EPIB, and there everything here stays intact. Now we move into here and put the historical amount for income tax, which in this case will be 741 cents. Then we click tag 94.65. The CPP contributions, which will be 233.76 cents. And then from there we move to the next tab, which is the income. This is a person that gets paid monthly. So we're gonna set up for 12 payments a year, which will be monthly. And first, before we start doing any adjustment, we'll make sure that we select salary here, so it will vacate the option of pay by hour or hourly wage. So for the benefits, we're gonna be adding the information that is needed here. So we're gonna put benefits, because we don't want to add any advances for this person, this employee. He doesn't have a loan right now. And we're gonna put here 34. You click tab and it's gonna take you to the historical amount, which you should always enter. And it will be 102. Click tab. You see that year-to-date amount will be the same one as the historical amount. Now the vacation owed, you input that information that is owed to this employee when it comes about the historical amount for their vacation. Click tab. It takes you to vacation pay. This person has not been paid yet their vacation, so you can leave it at 0. From there on, because this person does not work on a wage salary, does not have right now an overtime rate or anything like that. Typically, these employees, they don't necessarily get paid overtime. If it was a per hour based wage, we will have here information for the overtime rate and the amount of hours per overtime. So for the salary, this person is supposed to earn, let's see it on our draft file, $30,000 a year. So if we grabbed our $30,000 and divided by 12, this will give us 2,500. That's our amount per month. The working hours per period, it will be our 80 hours. That's what this person works every 2 weeks. And the historical amount is what has been paid so far, which it will be 4,800. That's an example, and it will be the year to date. Here you move now to what it is, the vacation rate. We'll make sure we put a 6%, just like an example in the books was given us. And from there on, we're gonna move now to the deductions. For the deductions, you want to make sure um, you show. I'm gonna show you the if we have to use RRSP for this employee that requested to be deducted. So we can put that he requested for pay period $25, and he started. So far, he has contributed 100. As you see, automatically gets updated here. This is his medical um, option. We can click it here as an additional one, and also put here as a medical 34 and a historical so far 102. If as an option the company allows you to buy Canada bonds, we can actually then click here on use, say that this person likes investments and that's why he's purchasing that. And so far he has purchased this amount, $200 a year today. After you include all these deductions, besides the federal and provincial one that are automatically taken away, we click on the WCB, which is Workers' Compensation Board. without the rate that is supposed to be. This is a number because it's a company example that we're doing. We're just going to put 2%, click tab, and so it can do the calculation, and then we click on entitlement tab. Here is for the vacation. So this employee is going to be entitled to 14 days of vacation, a maximum of 20 for the position that he or she has. And we're going to make sure that the clear days at the year end, we're going to click yes, yes, and yes for sick leave, personal day, and vacation. Historical days is the amount of days that has taken so far. Out of those 14, this person has taken 7. Sick day, this person, let's say, took 2, can take 2. The maximum amount I can take is 10, and has taken so far 1. Personal day that has taken 1. Maximum amount I can take is 10, and that has taken 1 so far. And you click tab so it can record the changes. The number of hours in the workday for this person is 8 hours, so we're going to leave that intact. So from entitlements, we're going to be moving to additional information. This is where we're going to be putting information for this specific employee and add the information that is like emergency number contact, which will be 204-987-5632 as an example. And here for the employer number, we can go into our draft and go for employer number for Christopher Wallace, 4525, copy and paste, click here. And now we're gonna moving on to the tab T4 and RL-1 reporting. Here we're gonna add the amount that is needed for EI and earnings, insurance earning. So this is an amount that has to do with some collection. So we're gonna put this 5084, for example, and here 5186. So once you fill all this information here for your employee, you can do a run now and check and make sure that you type everything that it needs to be filled and it is required. And once you do that, then you can hit save and close, and it's saved. And now you have added a new employee. That this person's employee is Christopher Wallace, and you can see it here right now. Christopher Wallace. Right now, it's not showing the wage salary because I haven't saved it yet. But once I save it and start the program again, there's going to be an amount here for what is this person's salary. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you have learned how to add a new employee to a company's payroll. Have a good day. Good afternoon and welcome to another exciting lesson for Sage 50 in our accounting class. Today's lesson is going to be about how to run a payroll check run. First, you have to take the mouse cursor and take it all the way to your left tab in the modal here and click on payroll and employees. Then move your mouse all the way down to this icon here where it says payroll check run. Once you click here, you're going to be presented with this window. In here, you see all your payroll roster, which includes all your employees. And as for the moment, everybody's getting paid. If you notice here, the date of the check is going to be the end of the month because we are in the last day of the month, and the period end date is also going to coincide with that. You keep your option here for not yet paid on this period end date, and that will mean everybody that hasn't been paid at this moment. So you have two options. First option, when it's the end of the month, in our case, because the type of company that we're running, we have two types of employee salaries. We have the monthly salaries and we have the hour wages. In this case, both types of employee are going to get paid, so we don't have to check off anyone in here, which it will be these 3 individuals, the ones that are getting paid by hour. So we'll keep all of them intact so everybody can get paid. And if you want to do a quickly rundown just to make sure that everybody has all their hours accounted, you can click in all of them and you see that everybody has 80 for the ones that are hourly and 160 for the ones that are monthly, which is two pay periods for the monthly and one pay period for the hourly. Okay, so to do the demonstration here, I'm going to show you in the case of one of the hourly employees, if they do extra hours, they stay in late to work at the company. All you do is just click over here on the overtime in the hours, put the amount of overtime hours that they worked. You tab, and because it's already preset the rate they will get paid for those hours, you can see now how it gets affected here in their pay, that those 15 extra hours or overtime increase the amount of gross pay and everything in the net pay for their payroll. Everything else will stay intact. And if you, for example, do not want to pay, let's say, for example, Christopher Wallace, you can check mark here, and this person will not get paid in this payroll. Otherwise, it is a very quick, simple um, way to get paid everybody in the company, and it's just a matter of like making the just necessary adjustments for the roster that you need for the pay period. Once you check that everything is correct and no one and all the overtimes are accounted for the employees, you can make a quick check individually if you want to. And once everything's correct, all you have to do is just click on post here. And as you see, oh, you have to add the check number. Sorry, that was my mistake. This will be check number 10. You can click post here. You make sure that everything else is input here. Click post. The payroll formula is being used, and this is fine. All you have to do is click yes. And as you see, every employee is getting paid. You're done here. All your employees got paid. And that's how you run a payroll check run. Thank you for your time. Have a nice day. Good afternoon. Here today's lesson, we're gonna be teaching you how to do the pay remittance that for this company we're doing at the end of the month. First, you have to make sure that you are on the employees and payroll model. This window will be showing with these options: pay remittance, paychecks, and payroll check. And you're gonna click. You can either do it two ways. You can click on pay remittance icon or the drop arrow. So you click the icon. You have this widget that is gonna populate here. And the first thing you're going to do is just to select the entity of the government that you're going to pay. In this case, we're going to be paying to the Receiver General for Canada, and we're going to assign a check number. In this case, let's say 45. Keep the date stated as it is, the end of the remitting period, which will be for the first day of the next month. And as you see, you have all the accounts that are going to be paying here: the CPP, EI, tax, with the amount owing, their respective accounts that are going to be adjusting payment. And all you have to do then, just click here. You go tab, 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 and on payment amount is going to give you an amount already for the CPP. Just keep clicking then the down key on the keyboard 3 times. And then from there, you can, with your mouse cursor, you can select the cursor here, reference number. You can put a reference number to this transaction. Let's call it memo number 1. And for the comment, you can do paid remittance for in this case, payroll of tax for the month of May. Once you have all that selected, you go do a quick check down, make sure everything is correct. And as soon as you do that, remitting frequently monthly, end of remitting period, everything, you can just click on post, and your transaction has been posted successfully, which means that you did your pay remittance to the receiver general. For the following ones, you can do the same thing and repeat it for Friendly Life Financial, which will be for insurance. Investor Group, which in this company will be for the Canada bonds that we offer to the employees. The Manitoba Workers' Compensation Board will be for this one. And my retirement savings, which is for your RRSP. Okay. Well, thank you so much for today and your time, and have a good day. Hi, good afternoon. Today we're going to be learning how to put entries in our journal entry for every transaction made by our company, Sage Gardens Greenhouse. So once you are inside of your Sage program and you are in your initial window, your first option is going to be move your mouse cursor all the way down to where it says company on the left side of the window. You're going to click there and you're going to see now that your original window changed to a window where it's displaying a different icons for a specific task that you can do. So what we're going to concentrate now is to move the mouse all the way down in the middle to where it says general journal. You can either click here on the drop down or the icon to open the journal. And what we're going to do is click the drop down and create general journal. For the source here, typically what you can do is just put the name of the invoice. And for example here, we can just put FH dash 201. We're going to keep the date as May 1st. And for the comment, we can say um, purchase office equipment. Here, what we can do is open right away the account. Since this is an asset that we are purchasing according to the company, remember that assets go up on the debit side. So when you click in the search icon here and you look for your asset account, in this case, office equipment, you can click here and right away the cursor moves towards the debit side. So we can put the amount, let's say in this case 12,000. Here, and as soon as you click tab, the cursor moves to where it says comment, where you can put any comment pertaining this purchase on and specify on what specific equipments you bought for the office. This could be desk, computer, etc., etc. So from there on, because we are buying assets, we are buying equipment, we have to pay the corresponding taxes for these purchases. So you move all the way down on your scroll section and go into where it says PST payable. As you notice, the computer right away moved to credits because for every debit, there should be a credit. But because we need to make sure that we adjust the amount and put in the proper percentage for the tax that we're paying here, all you have to do is just click delete in your keyboard and move back to the debit side. And for your PST, you're going to calculate your 12,000 times your 8% of PST, which is 960. So you here put 960, you input that amount with your keyboard. Now you click tab and you can here put the comment that you pay your PST and the percentage that is allocated for that, which is 8%. Now you can click tab again, and as you see the cursor move back in here, you click on your search engine, and now you look for your GST account because these equipments will also generate GST. And as you see, it did the same by showing it on the credit side. You delete that amount, and now here you're gonna allocate the proper GST amount, which it will be a 5% of our 12,000 purchase, which it will be 600 the amount. You enter it with your keyboard, and now you can tap and put the same comment as that you put in the PST, but with GST. So you at GST 5%. Um, um, sorry, there, fat fingers, but that's okay. So now when you have your debits all allocated under your debits column, you can tab and now look for your account that is going to be going down in your credit side, which will be your checking account. So basically, what you can do, since we're purchasing this all cash, you click on your search and you go to your first account, which will be your checking account, and it will be this one, the Bank Sage Garden Greenhouse. You double click there, and as you see, the beauty of the program is that it shows you automatically the addition of those three amounts on the debit side, so debit can equal credit. And now, as you can see, you have in the total right here now, both amounts are equal the same. So that allows you not to have a discrepancy in amounts on the debit side and the credit side. So here you can put um, payment of purchase for equipment. Okay, so now what you can do once you do a quickly check down to make sure that everything you posted or put in the entry is correct, and then you can move your cursor down here to where it says post, and this would allow you to post the entry that you just displayed. Once you click on post, it will automatically input this transaction into the system as your first journal entry of the month, or the journal entry that you just input in the program. Keep in mind that you can enter as many journal entries as you want, and you once you post it, if you want to continue doing general working on the general journal, it's going to still be available. So here you're going to see right now thinking, and as you see, it shows you the transaction that you've successfully posted this transaction. You can, if you want, to click here so they won't show this message again, but I like to leave it just to make sure that it's been successfully posted. Click OK, and you're back here to do your second transaction. If you want to keep entering transactions, you can just follow the same procedure by making sure that you put your invoice number as your source, just to keep it, to make sure that you can have a regular order and be a little bit more neat in the way that it's going to be presented on your reports of journal entries. Morning. Welcome to another episode of How to Use Sage by your host Manuel Camejo. Today we're going to be learning how to record a payment by a customer that you previously sold a service or a product from your business. First, you have to make sure that you are in the receivable window, as you see here for on your features in the tab, receivables, and then you're going to click on this arrow here by receipts, the drop down, and you're going to create a receipt. This is the window that is going to show up, receipts journal. Here is where you're going to receive what is, at the end of the day, a check from that specific customer, recording the payment that is going to take place. So the first thing you're going to do is that you're going to put the check number, whether you have it automatically in the serial or series. So for example, you can put here uh, number 5, let's say, for receipt 5. And you're going to click on the drop down button or arrow here to select the customer that is going to pay you. Say in this case that it's going to be Players Golf Center. You're going to notice that you have two options here. These are two different sold items that you, or two different invoices that you sold from sales that you made to this customer. So let's say, for example, that you want to pay only the first one. So basically all you have to do is select here and put it on the invoice that you want to pay. Now, you have to make sure that you always are conscious of the date that you are receiving this payment. This payment it should be received on the 12th. Okay, so we're gonna leave it on the 12th, May 12th. Click here and just click tab all the way. Notice that you didn't have to put the discount taken because it's gonna do it automatically, and that your amount received is gonna be this amount. So if the customer is only gonna pay that invoice, all you have to do is just you can click here on your comment and put whatever the comment is. In this case, let's say pay. Excuse me, sorry about that. I sneeze. Allergies are acting up. Don't deduct points for that, okay? So here you can put just paid in full by customer. Okay, so notice that in this case, this cell is applicable, the sales discount, because it's paying within the frame that the discount that it was provided to this customer after the sale took place if it pays on that time frame. Okay, so once you put the comment, you check everything on your boxes, you see that is made, you can click post, and that customer has successfully paid that invoice before it expired the discount frame for them. Okay, click OK, and you can move on to the next customer. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope that you learned today how to record a payment by a customer from a previous sale where there's a discount taken. Thank you. Bye bye. Good morning. Welcome again to another episode of How to Use Sage Program for Accounting 2. I'm your host of today, Manuel Camejo. Today I'm going to be showing you how to purchase or create an invoice, purchase invoice for items that you are going to use, or products that you're going to use for your business to sell to customers. So today, the first thing that you have to do is make sure that on your left corner of the windows, you have your tab selected on payables. This will have these windows here where you see vendors, projects, purchases quotes, purchase orders, invoices, and payments. So today what we want to create is an invoice. So what you have to do is you can do two things. You can either click on the icon and it will create this pop-up window, or you can click on the drop arrow and it will give you the option of create invoice, find invoice, and adjust invoice. So because we want to create an invoice for a potential purchase from our business, Sage Greenhouse, we click on create invoice. So the first thing you want to do is you have the options of your payment method, because we're paying later because we have our credit with all our suppliers. We're gonna leave it as pay later, but you can have the option of paying cash, check, or direct deposit. Okay, so let's select the customer that we are today purchasing from. Let's go to Reimer Soils. Let's buy soil for our company. And for the invoice, let's go with like the first initial. Let's go with RS, and let's go with invoice number 2. See, we'll keep the date on May 12th. This is happening then. And we're gonna go to the inventory for what we get from them, which is soil. At the moment, we have 35 quantity on hand, soil sacks, if we want to call it that way. So instead of letting it keep going down, we're just gonna stock up more for our inventory. You know, summer is coming around the way. A lot of people want to buy soil for their gardening or whatever there is that they are doing for their back or front yard. So we'll select it or double click on it. So you see the item number is selected here, and we want to purchase, let's say 10. You just put that in the quantity tab. You see how everything right away adjusts on the price per quantity. Your tax is selected automatically because it's linked, and your GST. As you notice, you don't have PST here linked because it's something that you're going to potentially sell to a customer. So you cannot like like get double charged for the taxes. It's gonna get taxed later on when you sell to the another next customer. Automatically amount is here. Your account is linked to it. So as you see the 1023 soil account, and you click tab and you're ready to go. So you can notice here how your LA payment terms with this supplier or vendor are set up for you. So that you have the availability or the option that if you pay before 10 within the first 10 days, you get a 1% off. If not, you have to pay everything within the next 30 days. So your total is this over here. And once you're done buying whatever it is that you're buying in this purchase invoice for that customer, all you have to do is just click post, and you have successfully submitted this transaction. You have successfully purchased in this purchase invoice the product that you needed from this customer, or sorry, from this vendor. Click OK. Do you want to send an email confirmation? Not necessarily, so we click no. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for your time. Welcome to another episode of How to Use the Sage Program for Accounting 2. I'm your host for the day, Manuel Camejo. Today we're going to be talking about how to pay a, an invoice from a previous purchase from one of your vendors. And the first thing you have to make sure is that on your screen, you have selected here, as you see with my mouse cursor, payables. This window that will give you all these options here, the one that you have to select is payments here. So you have two options. You can either click the icon and it will populate this payment journal windows, or you can click on the drop arrow here and it will give you the options: pay purchase invoices, pay credit card bills, expenses, remittances, find a payment, and adjust a payment. The option that we are interested in right now is pay purchase invoices. So you click there, you have this window here. So you have the option that if you want to pay your purchase invoice, you can pay by check, cash, or direct deposit. For our purposes right now, we want to pay by check. We have a big checking account, so all we have to worry about is that. So you want to put a check number here. Let's put check number 2 and go to the order of, which is the vendor or supplier that you're gonna pay, and you want to pay, let's say, Reimer. We purchased some soil from them day ago or 2 days ago or whenever it was, and you want to make sure that you are aware of the date that you're paying. So you're paying today on May 13, and since this is everything else is correct, and you want to put here the check number. Sorry, you have supposed to put it after you select the customer, but that's okay. You click here, and all you have to do is just do tab, and it moves right away to discount taken. You see here, and your payment amount. Notice that your everything is linked and calculated automatically by the system for you, because you also are paying within the time frame that you qualify for your 1% discount. So once you have your payment amount here, you can click tab and you see that your total is automatically calculated for you. You can tell that your discount was added, and from the 525 that was your original amount, it went to 520 because you're getting your 1% discount. So you can say here, paid in full, including discount, as a comment for yourself. Okay. And now, since once you can double check everything, make sure that everything is correct that you did, that you're taking away from your checking account, and you can click post in here now. You have successfully finished this transaction, which means that you pay an outstanding invoice, or not necessarily outstanding, you paid an invoice for a previous purchase from one of your vendors. Thank you so much for your day. I hope you learn how to make a payment for a purchase invoice. Have a nice day. Good morning, and welcome again to another wonderful episode of how to use Sage program for accounting too. Here we're gonna be showing you how to do a sales invoice when you sell a service or a product from your business to a customer. The first thing you have to make sure is that you have your tab over here in the window on receivables. This will automatically present in the front window the options of sales quotes, orders, time slips, sales invoices, and receipts. Because you're selling something to a customer, you're gonna click here on the drop arrow for sales invoices. Click here, create invoice, and this window pops up. As you notice here, it says sales invoices. So the first thing you're doing is going to the customer search drop box and select the customer that you're gonna sell the item or service. So let's say, for example, that today or in this occasion we are selling something to the Assiniboine Park. You click tab, 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 and you can do that in case your mouse are having any issues and go and move all the way to invoice number, or if once you select the customer, you can just automatically come and click here to the invoice. You can decide because it's your business how to name the invoices. So in this case, I'm gonna go by the two initials, AP, and let's say that this is invoice number 2, and that you are selling something to them on this day, the May the 12th. You don't necessarily have to put another quote or anything. So you move then to where it says item number. Click here to select something from your inventory that you can sell to them. Let's say that this is a park. They want to get ready for the summer. So you start selecting the items that have flowers or things that you want to sell to them. And then you move here into the quantity. And let's say that I'm selling 5 of these flowers to them. Tap, tap. By clicking the tab all the way to the account, you're going to notice that automatically it's linked to the base price, the amount, because it's the quantity times the price, and also it's linked to the revenue account that it belongs to. Let's say, for example, that you are selling more than one item, so you can move to the second box here, go to the drop down arrow, and in this case, let's say you're selecting petunias and you sold them 20 petunias because they love petunias, and you click tab. And as you notice, all your taxes, everything is calculated automatically from what you're selling to them. Let's say, for example, that they're super spenders and they want to keep spending because you have the best business in greenhouses in Manitoba. And now they want to add also landscaping decorative boulders. You see over here, this is what is on hand on your inventory, so you can keep in track. The system will keep track for that for you, so you don't have to worry about if you're short or not. And once you're short, you can tell by the amount. So you click there, and what about, let's say that they want 5 of those quantity for boulders. Click tab and everything. And as you see, it's also linked to the revenue account. Once you have everything that they want to buy for you, notice that over here, the early payment terms for this customer is 2% on 10 days or the whole full amount, the 100% on 30 days. So you can put a message here if you want or anything, or once you're done with everything that you need to put for this customer that you're selling to, you can just click post here, and you have successfully done this transaction where you sold items to this customer of yours. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you learn how to create a sales invoice for a customer. Have a nice day.